1. 81 to the second. So I hope it makes sense that going backwards, 81 to the 1/2 would get you back to the 9. Okay, so that's kind of the process here. All right, 256 to the 1/4. Once again, if you have a calculator out, we're going to take 256. We're going to raise it to the 1/4. Whoa, that's a lot of carats. Hold on, gotta take one of those out. And what happened? Did you get 4? Okay, can you just make sure you know how to use that key on your calculator? All right, now here's the reverse. 4 to the 4th power then, if I went the other direction, sorry, I'm trying to get the glare off of this. 4 to the 4th power is 256. So those processes reverse each other. Okay, so without your calculator then, what's 36 to the 1/2? 6, right? Because 6 squared is 36. All right. What's 8 to the 1/3? 2. Here's another thing you can use. Because if you have your root cards here, you could figure out what root raised to that power gives you that. Like for the 49 to the 1/2, you figure out what squared gives you 49. So you go to the squares column and you got the 49. I heard it. And you figure, oh, that's 7. Okay, how about 32 to the 1/5? 2. If you want to use your root card to find the 1/5 root, you go to the perfect fifths and you find the 32 and you figure out, see how it's 2 to the 5th? So the number that this would be a 2. For 64 to the 1/2, to figure out the root, you would go to the perfect squares and find the 64. You might know these, some of these, right? And the square root of 64 is 8. How about 125 to the 1/3? And at what hour then? Okay. Uh-oh. What's this? Because now it's not, I mixed it up on you. So, Kamari, did you do it on your calculator and you got an answer? What did you get? 4. You want to know why? Well, even if you don't, too bad. Because what we're doing is we're taking 8 to the 1/3, that's the bottom part, and we're squaring it. Isn't there a rule that says if you have a power to a power, you multiply those exponents? Okay. So 8 to the 1/3 means what number cubed gives you 8? And what would the answer to that part be? 2. And 2 raised to the 2nd power is 4. So breaking that down kind of into 2 steps. Okay. So rational exponents. We kind of have 2 different kinds, okay? So the first one is if I have x to the 1 over n power, okay, let's say that equals some number a, I guess. What that means is a to the nth power would give you back to the x. Okay, so those statements are flipped. Maybe it would make more sense if I had a number example, huh? So my example is 125 to the 1/3 equals, you tell me, what does that equal? 5. And why? Because if I wrote it in the reverse way, because 5 to the 3rd is equal to 125. So that's how a rational exponent works. When we have a number on top, that's when we can figure out the answer and then raise it to a power. Okay, let's do it. This time, no calcs. Use your root card. Everybody's got one, right? Santos, go grab one from the front table there. It's a little blue card. Okay. What's 9 to the 1/2 power? So what we do, I'll just kind of show you. Some of you know already. The 1/2 means I got to figure out what squared is 9. So I go to the perfect squares column. I find the 9. What number squared is 9? 3. So the answer is 3. Okay. 27 to the 1/3. I'm trying to figure out what number cubed is 27. So I go to the cubes column. I find the 27. What number cubed is 27? 3. Okay. Would you finish 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, please, using your root card? Okay, do you have a 4 there? Two. This is a 4. This is a 3. This is a 10. This is a 10. Ask me any questions. Okay. Now, on to this next part. This next part is a 2-step process, okay? So we're going to do what we just did, and then you're going to raise it to an exponent. But once again, you have the exponents on here as well, okay? So if I did, here's my breakdown. If I see 64 to the 2/3, I'm going to figure out 64 to the 1/3 first. Notice it's the root is what like the denominator of that fraction is, and then I'm going to square it. Okay, so getting your root card out, let's find the 3rd root of 64. So I go down my cubes and I look at 64 and I get what number? 4. So then that means I get 4 and I have to square it. And if you can't do that in your head, you can go to your roots card again, find your 4 and square it, and what's the answer to that? 16. Okay, let's do some more of these. So 64 to the 3/2, look at the denominator. That's 64 to the 1/2, okay, that's the denominator, and then after I figure that out, I'm going to cube it. What's 64 to the 1/2? 8. Okay, so the 1/2 means I figure out what number squared is 64. So I go down here. That's where I think Jaden said it, the 8's coming from. Okay, so now I have 8 cubed. You can use your calculator if you want. Oh, no, 8 cubed on here. Go to my 8s, and 8 cubed is 512. All right, 27 to the 2/3. I look at the denominator, that's my root. So I have 27, I'm going to do to the 1/3, and then I'm going to square it. Okay, what's 27 to the 1/3? 3. Okay, so I write down my 3. 3 squared is 9. Okay, can you guys try number 12, please, for me? Did you get 243? Okay. So I'm going to go through the process again. I find the 81 in the perfect fourths column. And then that root is 3. And then the top number is what exponent I'm raising it to, 3 to the 5th. All right, let's finish these off. This is 8 to the 1/3 and then squared. What's 8 to the 1/3? 2. 2 squared is 4. Okay, this one's 4 to the 1/2 and then cubed. What's 4 to the 1/2? The 4 to the 1/2 is 2, and 2 cubed is 8. This is 25 to the 1/2 and then cubed. A lot of 1/2s here. 1/2 is the same thing as, you've heard me say it before, 1/2 is the same as the square root, okay? And I'm going to get to that part because there's another symbol that means raising something to the 1/2. That's the last thing we're going to talk about. What's 25 to the 1/2? 5. 5 to the 3rd. 5 to the 3rd is 125. And finally, 16 to the 1/2 and then cubed. 16 to the 1/2 is 4. And 4 to the 3rd is 64. Okay, so a second ago, you told me that 25 to the 1/2 was 5, right? Okay. I'm going to show you something else. Have you seen that symbol before? The square root symbol, okay? So that's also 5, right? So what I'm telling you is that if I have x to the 1/2 power, Another way of writing that is the square root of x. Those are equivalent statements. And similarly, this is called root notation or radical notation. You can do any of the roots. What they do is there's just a little number in the corner, okay? So x to the 1 over n, there's something called the nth root. So put a little n in the corner of that root symbol. Just so you can kind of see on these calculators, I'm going to zoom in. Okay. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see. Do you see that little root with a little x there? See that? That's the root symbol. Like if I wanted to take the cubed root of something, I would just I'd type 3, and then that little symbol, and that means the cubed root of, let's do one that I know. Cubed root of 8 is 2. Okay. Personally, I think if you know what it is as a fraction exponent, that's easier to evaluate if you're using a calculator. Okay, so how does it work? Today we're just going to rewrite it in radical notation. So if you see something written as to the 1/2 power, just write it as a square root. If you see a different one, you put a little root, it's like a little one, in the little corner of the root symbol. And finally, let's say you have something that has a numerator and a denominator. Then you take the bottom and you put it in the root, and then you raise the top to that root. Okay, so we're not evaluating here, we're just rewriting in radical notation. 17, what's on the denominator? 3, that's the root. So I'm going to write the cubed root, that's where that 3 is going to go, of 27. What's in the numerator? 2, so then it's squared. Again, guys, I'm not evaluating, I'm just practicing rewriting in that notation. W, what's in the denominator? A 5, that means it's a 5th root, so we make a radical symbol and we put a little 5 in the corner, and we put a W. And do you see how the numerator is just 1? So then we don't have, I mean, you could raise it to the first power, but we just leave it. All right, 64, I look at the denominator, it's a 3. So this is going to be a cubed root of 64. The numerator of your fraction is a 2, so then I'm going to square it. All right, this one, k to the 3 over 4, I'd write the 4th root of k and then cubed. Okay, let's go backwards. This time, the bottom is going to be what root it is of your fraction. The top is what power it's raised to. So this is 8 to the what power? 2 over 3. This would be 20 to the 4 over 5. Oh, Jolly Rancher for you. Where'd the 20 come from? There? Crazy. M. Thanks, Birdie. M to the 4 over 5. Yeah, maybe from the number 20. I don't know. I don't know. All right, M. There's no exponent. No power that it's raised to. So what should I write for this one? M to the 1/8. 1/8. And finally, question number 24. c to the 7 over 11. Okay, so